All right. It's the Tornado, Tony Panico.
And Psychic Tom Paget with his crystal ball unveiled.
Well, I got a question. So, Tom, my question to you: did you get your lawyer yet for the lawsuit that you're about to have levied against you?
No, I'm going to have to. I think I'm going to go pro per on that one. I'm pretty confident. I don't need a lawyer.
Because I heard Carl Frampton is suing you because you did not warn him. I guess it was a bookcase fell in his hotel and broke his hand a matter of days before this weekend's fight.
Oh man,
did you guys hear about that?
No.
Well, I mean, I heard about it, because his fight is in Philadelphia this weekend at the Temple University, like their basketball or the Leah Core Center. And unfortunately, I couldn't go anyway. I have other plans this weekend. But Carl Frampton, top caliber fighter, world class, has win over Leo Santa Cruz. So that's, nothing to sneeze at right there. He's scheduled to fight the main event. I think it was a title elimination fight. And he was training was going great. The last day of heavy training, last day like sparring and real intense like bag work and all that, last day of heavy contact, gets through the training fine. And then I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if he went back to his hotel or if he was somewhere and something fell, like a bookcase or something ridiculous like that, lands right on his hand and breaks it.
What a freak accident.
Yeah. I mean, I've never heard that one before.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you did something like on purpose, like where you go in, you're pissed off, like I knew a guy that pitched for the Phillies, and I knew him when he was with their minor league team, local guy and everything, and made it to the majors, was doing well with them, and one day had a bad outing, just had a bad outing. You know what happens, especially when you're a pitcher. Went back in the locker room, or went back, the locker area, punched the locker, shattered his hand, ended his season.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, and part of the I'll tell you,
Phil Brioni. You remember him, Rich? Phil Brioni. He was the master. Yeah, he was the New York Badass. He was. He got his start in. He got his start in tough man boxing, and he went on a rampage once against the locker. Yeah, he was the all-time Olympic guy. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Right? Guys, I got to go. I'm going up for the run now. We're like, okay, sure, thanks. Yeah, that's
one of the injuries. Yeah, one of the injuries. This actually happened in a fight. Talk about one of the craziest injuries that ever happened in a fight. Freak accident. And I'm going to break us off with something else crazy in a minute. But I know it was Virgil Hill when he was light heavyweight champ. and I forget who he was fighting. It was another, top quality fighter. It was a title fight, and I believe the guy that he was fighting ended up going on to win a title later. But I'm drawing a blank on who it was right now. After 11 rounds, Hill was ahead, but it was a competitive fight. And as the fighter B, the challenger, was walking back to his corner, he walked directly into the cameraman standing in like the neutral corner. Somehow walked face first into the camera and split his eye open. And they had to stop the fight. And it was like because it was you can't call it an accidental foul. It was an accidental accident, for lack of a better term. It was a technical decision. And it was a technical decision, but I'm like, well, how is that a TKO? It wasn't a foul. It would be like if the guy, got up and like broke his ankle getting off the stool. It's not a technical decision. That's fighter A is like ahead after 10 rounds, and he's dead tired. And he's like, shit, I can't last 2 more rounds. And he gets up and falls off the stool and goes, I broke my ankle. Okay, let's go to the scorecards. No. The TKO. I have to look that up and see. Yeah, I guess so. But I'll tell you, talk about another crazy injuring yourself and really hampering your performance. A few months ago, and let me preface it in saying, because he just got signed for another comeback in a couple weeks, is professional wrestler Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, big, strong guy, never been the most technically efficient wrestler, and that's when he was younger. Now he's in his 50s. Had a match in Saudi Arabia a few months ago with another guy that when he was younger was much more technically proficient, but he's not anymore, that being The Undertaker. So you got 2 6-foot-something, like 6'4", 6'5" of Bill Goldberg, 285, 300 pounds. The Undertaker, 6'10", 300 pounds. 2 big guys, not the most agile, injury histories, so this going into it was going to be, kind of like a demolition derby, but nothing that, would be pleasing to watch. Going into the match, apparently Bill Goldberg, to hype himself up, headbutts the lock, gives himself a concussion. And then in the match, he does a spot where he hits the one post, and I guess that really rung his bell, because next thing you know, he's like falling over himself, and he's like, oh shit, what happened here? He says he has no recollection of the match. Well, don't headbutt a lock. I'm nuts. Yeah. Yeah. You know what they said the best thing I did for that fight? I didn't get the chance to watch it live. I was, at a friend's house for dinner. The best thing he did, he got in shape. They said he was in very shape for this fight. He took it seriously. That was a knock on Chris Arreola for a long time. Chris Arreola would come in there and he would be kind of flabby and he wouldn't be in the tip-top shape. And, early in his career, he got away with it sometimes, and sometimes he didn't get away with it. Now as he's getting older, he's kind of being seen more of a gatekeeper now. It's like he's the guy that a guy like Kownacki has to beat. You have to beat him, to take your next logical step up. And he did, but did he as impressively as he may have needed to? That's the question. I mean, but on the plus side for Kownacki, Arreola came to fight, and that's in a way going to help him out in the long run, because he gave him that stiff opposition that you need when you're climbing the ranks like that.
I still want, and I mean, the fight that I still want to see, and I guess it's depending on Jermell Miller's suspension for the PEDs, but I want Adam Kownacki and Jermell Miller, because you figure, I mean, I could promote this fight. I mean, you got a Polish guy that lives in Brooklyn. You got a Brooklyn guy that lives in Brooklyn. You put it at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and you got Adam Babyface Kownacki and Jermell Big Baby Miller, and you have it sponsored by Pampers and Bourbon.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think of these idiots. Yeah. Winner gets free Gerber for a year. Yeah. Right. I hear something like 2,300 in total or something like that, which is pretty impressive for two big guys. I mean, you figure that's that's like 100 punches around for each guy.
Yeah, I mean, even after the third round, I kept thinking, man, this can't go the distance. It's almost a physical impossibility, but they did. And he did. Yeah, he looked a little game. He did finish. So, what do you guys think of his head movement? Or did you see much? Did you see much of that? Now, what do you think of Kownacki's defense? Well, if he fights Wilder, we'll find out.
Yeah, right. I mean, like sometimes, like you get two guys that both come with the same philosophy of your best defense is a good offense. And that's almost impossible to make a bad fight. Yeah, the card on Saturday in Philly, even without Carl Frampton on the show, they've elevated the Jason Sosa fight to the main event. And Sosa, tough New Jersey fighter, right across the river from Philadelphia. Though he's a Jersey guy, he's technically a Philly fighter. Former world champion, but he did take a pretty convincing loss, which a lot of guys have. Lomachenko about a year or two ago. So on his, comeback now, also in the card, we got Sonny Kanto, going for his fourth knockout. And like I said, he's slowly climbing up the ranks. So it's going to be a good card at the Temple Leocora Center. I just have prior engagement this weekend. I am not. Why? Should I be? I'll go on there right now. Did you break it? No, this is red flagging people now. That's the last thing we need. Yeah. Now, with my sense of sarcasm in life, one of the things I would look forward to is to be like the commissioner of that fight and have him come in overweight. But you are most certainly not light. You know who else I got from this week I just saw? And it was funny because I got an email about it today. Because I have both DAZN and ESPN Plus. Fight card in Philly is going to be on ESPN Plus, I believe. But DAZN Saturday night we got Virgil Ortiz Jr. and he's another kid that's really been making some noise lately. He's 13-0 with 13 knockouts. I had the privilege of seeing him fight live in Vegas a few months ago on the Canelo Alvarez Danny Jacobs card, and he was fighting a guy by the name of Mauricio Herrera. And Herrera is one of them fighters that doesn't always win, but he always makes it tough for the opponent. He fought Danny Garcia in Puerto Rico a few years ago and was like a big Puerto Rican show for Garcia, and a lot of people thought Herrera won that fight. They thought he outboxed Garcia. Garcia got the decision. So Ortiz took on Herrera at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, and when that fight was over, my dad and I looked at each other and we went, holy shit. And the reason we said that was, first of all, because he was 12-0 with 12 knockouts coming in, and it only took him 3 rounds to become 13-0 with 13 knockouts. And he put Herrera down in the second round, and then he put him down and violently out in the third round. So, I mean, if you got the zone app, yeah. Let me take a look. Let me take a look at Orozco. Don't know about him. I don't know what a WBA gold title is. I apologize for not knowing that. Let me look at some of his opponents. Okay, Luis Rodriguez, Martin Jaramillo, Abner Lopez, Miguel Acosta, Humberto Soto. That was back in 2015. Soto on the downside of his career at that time, but potential Hall of Famer right there. He won a unanimous decision. Let's see. Hornario, he fought twice, won decisions both times. So, Steve Forbes, who once again was well past his prime, because you figure Forbes was the last win of Oscar De La Hoya's career in 2008 maybe. And at that time, he was considered past his prime, and De La Hoya beat him then. That was 11 years ago. And this guy was just beat him a couple years ago. So you have 28-1 with 17 knockouts. So I don't know how much of a big puncher he is. So I think this is that next step that Virgil Ortiz has to take. Because Conto is now against a TBA fighter. The other day he was against a guy that was 2-2 and 1 with 2 knockouts. But I don't know if that fight got pulled off. The other fighter that I want to mention on here is Paul Kroll. And Paul Kroll is 4-0 by knockout. He is one of the guys, Rich, when I sent you that email the other week and I copied the guy that I work with, Shamar Adams. Shamar has some affiliations with Paul Kroll. He's been, any publicity he can for this guy. So if you get a chance to respect this Paul. Okay. Okay. Like I said, and I haven't seen Shamar in 2 weeks. So I've been out of the office a lot.
Yeah, it was just a complete demonstration of everything. Colby just, there's a phrase in wrestling, chain wrestling, where you just go from one thing to the next. Well, this was like chain MMA. I mean, kicks, knees, punches, takedowns. Lawler just could not get any kind of a rhythm going. An incredible performance. And did you hear Colby's comment after the fight about Matt Hughes? Did you hear that? Well, Hughes and Lawler were training partners at the Militich fighting system in Iowa back in the earlier days. And Colby made the comment, he said, well, I can say about Lawler is, he should have learned from his buddy Matt Hughes, when there's a train coming down the track, get off the track. Wow. And Hughes, to his credit, Hughes took it very gentlemanlike. He said, hey, this is a fight game. You got to have thick skin. But it was one hell of a fight. So I guess Hughes is able to talk now. So, wow. But, I mean, it's just an incredible performance for Covington. And then he went up and confronted Usman, and almost, I guess, security had to separate him in the interview afterwards. So, yeah, exactly. And a little bit of politics. I don't know if you heard, but the president's son, both his president's sons were right there beside the cage. And Colby went to the cage wearing his MAGA hat. How about that? And he'd been to the White House before. So what a wild man. So he's definitely talked his way into it. So we'll see how it goes. And I'll tell you what, I know Usman's got a lot of skills, but Covington just really, I mean, he reminded me of the style of Nick Diaz. Just everything. He just never slowed down. And it's hard to fight a never-ready battery like that. It just on and on and on. I mean, he just didn't seem to get tired. Amazing performance.
That's right. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a big loss not being able to get you know scheduled on the September 15th, Mexican Independence Day. still there. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, Rich, have you ever had your levels measured? Okay. Yeah, that would. Well, the Life Extension Foundation can just do a hormone panel. I mean, they have all kinds. I'll send you a link for that. That might be interesting for you, and they'll have it broken down into normal and low and high and all that. And just because you're doing a lot, sometimes that can work against your levels too. If you're overtrained, so it'll be a pretty good gauge. But glad that's working for you. sounds like one of my efforts. Yeah, just blow torch that fat. Your energy levels will explode. Your libido will skyrocket. She'll be speaking in tongues. You'll be breaking the bed, shaking the walls. Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. So, I'm going to send you guys some pretty good photos, and I got actually some photos I want to send you from yesterday. I did a trip to the Trade Center, World Trade Center in New York, which was pretty eye-opening. So, send you some shots from that too.
Cool.
No, I was actually I was in red, white, and blue, just not the top hat and cape. But I had a USA red, white, and blue baseball jersey on the I just got, which is pretty cool. It fit the part. It was an experience. I'll just what I can say. I mean, I fought in New York only like 4 or 5 miles away at the New York Athletic Center, and we went down to after the weigh-ins and stuff. We took subways and we went to Little Italy. We went to Chinatown. We went to Times Square the next day before the fights. And I didn't realize it was just a matter of miles. But when I got there and we went into the museum and we looked at all the stuff, I spent 3 hours in there. Then we went to where the footprints were of the two buildings that are obviously, just reflecting pools now. And you're looking at them and you're looking up at like the sky and you're like, well, where did the planes? Like how they come here? How did this happen? You're trying to make sense of it because you're trying to get a sense of direction. And because you remember you saw things that were on the news and you saw views like the one from the street. You saw this other view. And it's like, how did it happen? I really didn't put it all together until I went to the new Trade Center and up to the 102nd floor. And that way I could walk around and see a 360-degree view of the city, of the harbor, of the Statue of Liberty. And I'm like, now it all makes sense. Yeah. 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 It's nice. It's something to definitely see. So I'm definitely glad I did it. So yeah. I had a bus trip off like house, my house. So I mean, it was perfect.
All right, guys. Over and out.
All right. Have a good weekend, gentlemen.